Button. All right, you guys, it is officially Wednesday, April 19th. I'm coming to you alive, full of energy, full of excitement, full of passion, and as always, full of tremendous levels of gratitude for you guys being here and sharing this hour with me. So we're going to go full tilt today. I want to have some high-level conversations with you guys. I want your input. I want hands up. And so before we get started, I'm going to have somebody bring us out on the field. Now, you know the routine, but I'm going to actually switch it up a little bit. We're going to start adding some layers to it. So Tiger, be ready. I'm calling on you to do this. So Tiger, bring us out on the field. What is your word of the day? And if you were going to give yourself some coaching advice right now, and you were looking yourself dead square in the eyes and saying, hey, this is what you need to hear today, what would that advice be? So Tiger, let's have you start us off, big dog. Take the mic.
All right. Good morning, everybody. You know, I would say that we have the privilege of working with the number one, I just pinched myself, the number one Zillow brokerage in the Bay, over 1,200 five-star reviews, world-class training, great leaders, and support unlike I've ever seen. So I think that just for me, look around, be grateful for what we have, take advantage of what's at our fingertips, because this is not the case in many brokerages. And I'm just thankful to be a part of this team and looking forward to going into Q2, Q3, Q4 with one of the greatest brokerages on the planet. So that's what I have to say.
Wow. Well, welcome to Tiger's Buyers Consultation and TED Talk. I love this. And so Tiger, if there was one word that kind of summed up what you're thinking right now, and then if you could give yourself some coaching advice, what would that be?
Okay, so sorry, I didn't follow the full instruction.
It's all right.
If I could give myself some advice, it would be to staff my weaknesses and identify what I'm good at and do a lot of that. And then the things that I'm not good at, don't try to force myself into areas that I don't have maybe a propensity towards. Find people that are strong in those areas, even if it costs. I need to stay in my lane and focus on what I'm really good at.
Wow, well said, well said. And you know, that's the beauty of this environment is partnership deals, right? Like if there's just something that you're having troubles with and you feel like, you know, you're not best suited to serve that person, that thing, that cause, then yeah, then lean to your brothers and sisters on the team. So really good stuff. I love that and great contribution, a way to start us off. So you guys, I had a question before we get into the market conversation and before we start really diving into this dialogue, I wanted to ask everybody, and I read an Inman post early this morning, and I wanted to ask you guys right now, if you were to look at your, let's just say last 30 days or last 2 weeks, if that's easier for you, but stay with me. If you were to look at the last few weeks and you were to think, well, what dialogue, communication, if you don't like calling it a script, don't call it a script, I'll include script. What communication, dialogue, or script has been truly, truly effective recently when communicating with consumers? And I wrote here, has it been your dialogue about interest rates, about affordability, about inventory, why it's still a great time to buy despite what's happening in the market? Is it the conversation around new developments, which we're going to unpack that conversation today? Is there a script? Is there a dialogue? Is there a communication that you feel that you are flowing with right now? Anytime someone hits you with that, you're like, ooh, that feels really, really good. I want to have some of you share. So if you can, throw your hand up. That way I can get to you because I think this is going to be powerful. What is a script, a dialogue, and a communication that is working for you right now? Whether you're a Roxanne on the call, whether you are an up-and-comer, or whether you are brand new, what is something that's working for you right now? And let's go, you guys, get your hands up. Let's go Dominique, and then we'll go Otis, and then please throw your hands up because I want you guys to hear, take notes. So let's go ahead and Dominique, start us off for the morning.
Okay, I'm on my phone, so it was a little hard. There's nothing specific. However, what's been working is the communication of what specifically is the client's needs and wants in this market, because the market is so weird and different that every potential client has a story about their home or what it is that they need to do in order to succeed. So the dialogue hasn't really been about interest rates. It's just been more about what is it that we can do for your current situation that can get you what you need in order to sell.
I love this. So this communication is more so focused on sellers.
Correct. Well, that's what I've been working with lately. I don't really have any buyers. I have sellers lined up. And so what the communication has really been is, of course, the market and specifically what the numbers are doing in their homes market, but specifically connecting with them on a sense of I care for you and your and what you need and what it is that we need to do, the footwork we need to do here on the ground in order to put your house on the market and get you something that you need in order to move on from it.
I'm going to venture to guess, and obviously, you know, I've only known you for less than a year now, but I'm going to venture to guess that you have a really great ability to make people feel at ease and help them understand what the road ahead looks like because you listen to them very well. Is that safe to say?
Very safe to say. And so I've actually nurtured, we have a listing being signed in El Cerrito probably today, and I've nurtured him and his wife the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and they finally canceled with their agent and is going to sign with us because I've focused and I talked to them about what it is they need to do, how they need to do it. And we pretty much touched on like when they bought their house, why did they buy it? Why do they want to sell it now? Just mainly focus on them. And
I love this.
It's worked.
Good. And Dominique, I'm going to also venture to guess, and I think this is a rhetorical question. Not only are you good at listening, but you also have a tough edge to you to say, you know what, like this is how it's going to be. And I think there's a really tough side of you as well. You're a great listener. You have like really good poise when you communicate, but there's also a very tough side of you that will say, hey, this is what we need to do next, and like follow my lead. Is that safe to say as well?
I take complete control. Yes. Yes.
I love it. I love it. I appreciate
Yeah.
the contribution, you guys. And listen, go ahead and get your hands up. I want to get at least 5 people contributing on this, but really good stuff, Dominique. Otis White, let's hear from you, big dog. And the question was, if you guys were just dialing in, is there a script, a dialogue, a communication that has been super, super effective with you in the recent weeks when communicating with your consumers? What is that? What does that sound like? Otis White, let's hear from you, big dog.
My script's forever changing. Obviously it's off what we come here and we talk about, pitching off all the information that I get from you guys and some of your deals. And, you know, obviously the deals that I've done, I've learned from each deal. Dominique is right. Everything is tailor-made for that specific client, that specific deal, whether you win or you lose, whether you get into the escrow, whether you go all the way through, or even you fall out. Understanding the market and where you're at with it, and being, progressive with it. You know, you got to learn, you got to know what you're talking about. For me, I really feel like going through this last 6 months with interest rates reaching almost as high as almost 7.5, almost 8%. And then when I first came in, them being as low as probably like tinkering close to 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to see that market change probably about 4 or 5 times now in the last year and a half that I've been really busy and working. So just knowing those things and you know, gaming yourself up, you know, learning how to look at someone who has a lot of equity, so you know that you have the ability to get some seller credits and help them buy down the rate. Because right now there's endless possibilities. Like you said, Elias, there's new builds still giving out, you know, incentives, you know, before, which were kind of cut down to maybe 2%, 3% with a credit. Now they're like 4 or 5 because rates are up there. Nobody's coming out. You guys just did a tour out there, right, to drum up some business. That's pretty much what that was for. So, I mean, just letting your client know whatever angle you're going, that you got them, that you're going to do the homework, and making sure they're on the ride for the roller coaster, depending on whatever market you're in. Because, you know, I had my last client that I closed on. We threw 25, we threw 50, and we weren't even in the fucking game. But did my homework, we locked in. You know, I called all of those listing agents. It was like, client really likes this house. What could we do? Locked in on the probate. If you know about probate, those deals can fluctuate any type of way depending on that circumstance. And house that was 788, we stole for 755. Client was super happy. So again, just kind of knowing, you know, and not being scared. I don't feel scared of anything. The only thing that I'm really scared of is investors, because I haven't really gotten to that realm. But lucky enough, I got one right now, and we're probably going to close maybe on the end of this week, maybe beginning of next week on $1 million property. So super excited. I'm scared to touch something. And don't be afraid to take it. You know, there's someone on this team, someone that's going to be out there to help you, even if you don't know, like Elias said at the beginning of the call, like, don't be afraid of nothing. I even got a referral. And thank you, Brian, for always being on the channel, you know, looking out for us. Shot me to somebody in Indiana, and I got something down there, you know what I mean? So never shine away from anything.
I love it. And this is why it's so important. And we talk about this all the time, is just being a student and really nerding out every single morning or at the evening time, like nerding out on what's going on. We always talk about this, you guys. Knowledge is the one part of it. Articulation is the second part of it. And so, Otis, I love this. Let's go to Jess Bling. And then I think I see Heidi's hand up. Let's go to Jess Bling. Let's hear from you. Same thing. What's working for you? Is it a dialogue, a script, a communication that's been super effective when talking with consumers recently?
I think, honestly, just of it all, holding myself accountable, but not so much of what Otis actually made me want to say something. Not being scared, not being afraid, and utilizing your resources. And what I mean is specifically what you and I were talking about, Elias, with that deal. Don't panic, y'all. Don't panic when things come your way and they seem like you may not be able to work through it. Talk to somebody on the team. Elias and I did a quick powwow, and we kind of already knew what the answer was, but talking through it helped me figure out another way to make this happen. So I guess no script for you, but consistency and accountability. Just keep chipping away at your goals, make a daily goal and hit that shit. And that will keep your business coming and flowing. And when you come against obstacles, don't fold. Yesterday, I was ready to throw in the fucking towel while we were touring properties. And I was like, wait a minute, relax. We're going to figure this out. And we did.
I love this. I love this.
So we're good.
Really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. Let's hear from, after Heidi, I'm going to either go to Vernon, Sam, or our Huntington Beach Rotary. I'm going to go to one of you guys. So I want to get you guys in the queue. I want your feedback on this. Heidi, let's hear from you. Is there a communication, a dialogue, something that's working for you right now? High level, rapid fire. Let's hear from you, Heidi.
Hi, good morning, everybody. This started Easter weekend, Elias. My phone was literally slammed. And Easter Sunday, my kids were saying, Mom, why are you working on a holiday? And I literally have been blessed to receive a number of about a dozen first-time buyers who all lost the Dream for All loan program financing, very discouraged, fired their previous lenders and agents. And I've had to do a lot of hand-holding, basically sending them my resume, doing a Zoom call, initial meeting, with the buyer consultation. They've even asked for our buyer consultation guide before even meeting me via email. And buyers just really wanting to be educated, afraid, because they've made offers, very discouraged, not knowing what to do in this marketplace. And I've had a number of them say that they didn't even know what the liquidated damages clause and the arbitration was when they signed contracts with their previous agents. So one thing I have been doing that's been really helpful to keep the credibility with the client is, and I've done this for quite some time, like I was telling Chris last week, I give them a sample document of all the purchase documents, like the purchase agreement and disclosure, before they even look at property and sign an offer, so they're not signing anything blind.
I love it. I love it. I love the stance on education, because listen, even if the Dream for All program didn't work for them, I liked what Jen said yesterday. She said the Dream for Some, even if that Dream for Some program didn't work, there's other programs out there. There's opportunities. We found out some really cool things yesterday on tour, but Heidi, I love this. So Vernon, let me ask you, is there a communication, a dialogue, a script, whatever you want to call it, that has truly been working for you in your communication and dialogue? And I wrote down a couple. Is it interest rates, affordability, inventory, great time despite the market? Like, what, if you could quantify this, Vernon, what's something that's been effective for you?
I'm going to have to echo Otis and Dominique in what they presented, because that's what's working for me. It's not so much coming into the conversation like I'm the know-it-all. although I am the real estate professional in the conversation, I find that listening pays more dividends than speaking, or just being able. Here's what I'm finding, man. The news is selling a lot of fear. And to me, the acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. It's false evidence, and it appears real. And because, some of our clients are not, they get all their information from the news, I have to debunk that fear by providing actual education in terms of what's happening in the market today. So whether that's buying now and refining later, whether that's having a conversation about adding an ADU to the back of a property, whether it's multifamily, the California dream for some, we were all in panic around that. There was a fire lit under everyone's butt in terms of hopes and possibilities, and then that fire was quickly extinguished in like 10 days. So just listening first, okay, and being able to debunk the fear that's associated with the information that they're receiving and giving them actual, real, tangible, real market information is what's been working for me. And
I love it.
What it does is it causes me to learn, because shit, I don't know everything, right? So just by listening, I'm sharpening my toolkit, right?
Amen.
And then having the ability to be able to have these conversations and these discussions. So Dom, Otis, I'm with you. We're in the same car. It's all about listening before you speak. That's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, although they have 2 lips.
Burning. Yeah.
Come on, let's go. I'm on fire this morning. Let's go.
That's right. That's right. So let me show you one more time, you guys. We shared this last week, and if you're having troubles with this dialogue, find this in Slack. Just go buyer's consultation. You'll see this, and this is what's really, really important. Let me share with you the reality of what is actually occurring in the market today. I promise you guys, if you fill in this data, if you fill in this information, you'll actually have a really, really strong flow when communicating with consumers, and you'll understand that at a very, very high level. That's located in Slack. All you do is search buyer's consultation. It's under files right here. It's the #1 thing that you'll see. So let's go over to Andrew, and then we're going to shift gears. So Andrew, let's hear from you, big dog. Is there a dialogue, a communication that's truly, truly working for you if you were look back at it? Let me give you guys an example. I was talking to a couple of people yesterday, about when we originally had our recruiting meeting. You guys, I eat, sleep, and breathe this company, and I could sit on a stage and talk to thousands of people about this beautiful thing that we call fast real estate. Now, when I'm talking with somebody, I'm so passionate about it that literally I don't have to feel like it's contrived. I'm just speaking from what I know, the experience. I'm asking questions and I'm bringing them into our world. Like, that's the type of flow that I want for you guys. Most of you on this call have been on a recruiting call with me, right? Most of you have been on a recruiting call. That same level of passion, energy, and excitement, that's what I want for you guys when you're communicating with consumers. So let's hear from you. Andrew, let's hear from you. Oh, you changed the name. Okay, all right, cool.
I know.
What's working for you right
but-
now, if you could quantify this?
And I will echo what Vernon said. I mean, a lot of it's just listening to the consumer, hearing what their objections are, what their questions are, and just answering them. Like the other day, I had a conversation with one of my friends from Rotary, and she was like, oh, my son was like trying to buy a house. He's self-employed. He has like great income. But then one of the lenders he talked to was saying that he needs to put his money in a trust. I'm like, in order to qualify. And I'm like, let's see if we can get you a second or third opinion to see if he really needs to put his money in a trust and if he's getting the right feedback or information. Because I mean, I've gotten to help self-employed borrowers, and that's not necessarily the case where you have to put your money in a trust. Like, here are some resources. And she was like, okay, great. Let me pass it along. And now they're talking, and it's just, I think, providing value. And I think especially right now, as we're getting into summer, one of the things I've been saying is, hey, I know you've been looking or been thinking about making a move before we get into summers, typically when it gets super busy. Let's go out and see some homes so that we can see what's out there and then see if there's anything that fits before more buyers come through. And you have more competition. I know inventory is not super high, but let's see if there is something that may fit your criteria and still have some negotiation power. But yeah, so that's something that I've been using to get some people out there to go shopping and see homes and start that process to see homes again, especially for those that have waited. Because
love it, Andrew.
Yeah, and I think real estate seasonal, right? So I always say it's a bell curve. Things start getting busier during the summer because people are moving during the summer because of the typically because of the school districts, right? The schools. So this is a great time to go out before kids get out of school so that you'll have some more time to shop and not have to compete as hard.
That's right. I love this. You guys, here's some sentiment for you. Buckle up, Buttercup. And here's what I mean is that in the coming months, more people are going to be in the market. It's inevitable. The sun is shining, more people are coming up. So when I say buckle up, Buttercup, you need to be ready and understand what your flow is, how you're communicating. And then you have to also think about what your strategy is. And can you fully articulate that to a consumer right now and how you're going to get an offer accepted in this competitive environment? You also have to think about your terms. How well are my terms? Do I understand the terms? How do I get creative with my terms? And also, how good are my communication and negotiation skills, right? Can I communicate with the listing agent, get some transparent information? Can I negotiate? Can I find ways to really, really negotiate on my client's behalf? And if those are areas where you're struggling with right now, start to refine those skills, because guess what? The people are coming. And if you can't be that person, they're going to go to the next person. So I appreciate you saying that. We're going to move the conversation on, but Joellen, you had your hand up, so I want to make sure I get to you. And then we're going to shift gears.
Just real quick, there's one thing that I do pretty much all of the above, but when I'm at a listing and a buyer's coming through and they talk about not a lot of inventory, I let them know how I got that house. I share the story of next door knocking, social media, and I go and search for homes for my clients. That's how I got this one. So I share that.
I love this. I love it. I love it. You guys, there's a book. I'm going to put the link here. I don't know if you've read this book before, but it's called Just Listen. This is a really, really powerful book. This conversation came up quite a few times today. So I'm going to throw this in the chat below. That way you guys have it. And then I highly recommend that you get this or listen to it when you guys are driving. And let me go ahead and throw that in the chat down below. Boom, bam, you have it. All right, guys, let's do this. Let's talk about new developments. And the reason why is that no matter where your client is shopping, I want you guys to make new developments part of your flow. Even if they say, you know what, God, we want turn of the century. We want a craftsman. We want a bungalow. We want an Eichler, whatever it is. I think that it's important that during your flow, if there is new dev in your area, that you at least stop by, put them on the list. And just like, while we're here, there's a couple new houses that are situated on the lake. It's about 10 minutes from where you're looking. Let's go and check these places out. So what I wanted to do, and we went on an incredible tour yesterday. What I want to hear, because we have markets all throughout the area, is I want to hear from you guys. Where are the new developments that you've gone and toured? What are you seeing? What are some of the incentives? Where are they at? Price points and things like that. So we can share in this collective, because I promise you, there are some dope opportunities right now at these new devs. We went and saw some of the most amazing homes. When you think of Lathrop, you think probably like farmland, right? Like most of the people that don't know this area, like they think like, oh, it's farmland. We had 25 people out here yesterday caravanning around, seeing some of the most amazing homes on the lake yesterday. And I actually live in this community. So tell me who's gone and seen new developments, who knows about projects, who wants to share some information, and please raise your hand on this conversation, because I want you guys to share and put others on game. So who wants to start out first, sharing with me what's going on? Let's see, okay, cool. Let's go, Andrew, and then you guys. Sacramento, where are you at? Bay Area, where are you at? South Bay, East Bay, I don't care where you are, hands up, you guys. This is an important conversation. So Andrew, Lynn, let's hear from you, and then we'll go Joellen, then we'll go Vernon, then we'll come to Otis. Let's go.
New builds. I love new builds. I always take my clients first to new builds. Why? Because many times they'll provide snacks, water, it's air conditioned. You have a great location to get to meet your client, talk to them, have a great conversation, and yeah, it's air conditioned, so it's a great place to meet your client, get them registered, and then they'll be like, oh cool, shiny object, and then you can take them to the other homes that you're on the tour. And then always ask for commission structure. Make sure you get them registered on the first go. Ask them what commission they're offering. I wouldn't do it where the client's there, but at least us have a second conversation. Make sure it's in writing as well too. You get a copy of the agreement that you've signed as well, especially if they do plan to purchase new construction. And then also, if there are any quick move-in units, many times you can negotiate on price, incentives, closing cost credit, and or commission structure. So that's super important. If it's a quick move-in, they're wanting to get rid of it, especially if there's multiple units, they're willing to negotiate, even if because the builder needs to get it off their plate and off their board. So if it is a quick move-in unit, you can jump on it and get a really good opportunity. Many times they'll throw in like free solar, free upgrades. Yeah, because there's been a few that I've looked at. They're providing free solar. It's like $15,000. They're providing $40,000. And it's moving in next month. So
I love this.
And those are great opportunities, and your client can move in. And also the other thing, for new builds, you can do your blue tape walkthrough before they get their home, and they'll get a brand new home that's perfect condition. If there's anything, the builder you typically will fix it before they move in, which is something you don't get with a resale home. Like you have to negotiate for repairs or whatnot. New builds, you go tape. We need this repainted. We need this cleaned. And they'll pretty much take care of everything. So those are why new builds are great and a great option for your clients. So
I love this. Great contribution, Andrew. One thing I saw yesterday when we were touring River Islands was the most amazing next gen units. So the next gen units, when you think about this now, we all have parents, right? And if we're fortunate enough to still have our parents, my mom talked to me a couple months back and she said, Mijo, she's like, when I retire, I'm going to come live with you. I'm like, wait, what? You're going to come live with me? And I'm not going to turn my mom away if she wants to come and live with me. But here in River Islands, the next gen units has its own entrance, it had its own kitchen, has its own little suite, the dope shower. They don't even have to come in the main house if they don't want. They would not mind you. I want to have dinners and stuff with my mom, but the next gen units. And then also thinking about that from an investment standpoint down the road, I'm like, that area that we were in at some of these places, that was $1,800 on it. I mean, and I'm being super, super conservative, $1,800, maybe even a little bit more for the ones that are on the lake because you're paying for a premium, but that is potential income opportunity, and they don't have to be in your home. So you guys, if you have people that are thinking about maybe building some passive income over the years, also elderly people in their life that they need more space, that just might be an alternative versus, oh, we want to convert that space of the house into living quarters for these people or a potential apartment. You guys, the next gen units were off the hook. Joanna, let's hear from you. Let's go to Vernon, then we'll go Otis, and then Chris B. Let's go. You're muted.
Sacramento, we have some new communities coming. Look out for the tour that we're going to have pretty soon. West Sacramento along the water. Folsom has about 8 brand new communities. Cameron Park 3, El Dorado Hills has a couple, but things to ask when you get in front of the sales director is there a lot premium cost? What incentives do you have for the client? If they start out high and it's not fitting your budget, ask if there's a different model that they can show. Absolutely sign your client up. Do not leave your client there. Stay there with your client the entire time. If you have to leave, take a break, but come right back. That's something you want to do. Yeah. But most of them have a standard base commission. And then if you keep repeating to the community, then they're going to scale that commission up, which was really cool. So know that as well. Take a picture of the contract if they don't have a contract right then and there for you. And no soliciting buyers at the property because you'll get kicked out.
Ooh. I love that. I love that. Thanks for that advice. Yesterday when we were at one of the builders, it was Avalon Point in Avalon. She said that they're paying 3% for any realtor that brings a buyer in. So you're getting 3%, and their average price on the home was right at $850, but the premium lots were like, or premium homes are like 1.2. And then there's Mello-Roos in the area. I didn't know this, but they're actually giving you money to buy down that tax rate, which was actually really, really powerful. So the more questions you ask when you're in that lobby with that sales director, it's going to better serve you. And then when you're with your consumer, if you come in and instead of just being like sitting there and letting them ask the questions to the people at new development, because what it's going to make you look like, what, wow, they're really advocating for me. So what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? And then what if the appreciation of the home goes up before it's even built? Well, then you have equity, all these things, right? So like, make sure you go in there prepared and don't let just somebody else do the presentation for you. Be involved in that presentation. Ask them questions. So good stuff, Joellen. Love that. Vernon, let's hear from you, big dog.
Sounds like Joellen was speaking from experience in terms of poaching potential buyers at the.
I asked first if I could do it. She's all, no, you'll get kicked off site. I said, okay.
Applaud you for that. Yeah, man, new builds are dope. Solano County specifically, they're all up and down the 80 corridor, right? So Tri Point Homes in Vallejo's building a new development off of Columbus Parkway. That's kind of hot right now. They haven't really begin their phases in terms of the buildings, but I've had several conversations with the reps there trying to, and not all new builds are given the incentives. Some of them are just believing that they're going to sell at market value without having to give any incentives. But if you continue to move down the 80 corridor through Solano County, we have new builds in Cordelia, the Green Valley area. As soon as you're getting over the hill right off of Red Top, starting at about the 500s in that area, and they are offering smaller incentives. What I found in Solano County, all of us know about the One Lake development, they are giving the biggest incentive packages, 30, 40 grand if you go with their lender, being able to negotiate the purchase price, depending upon the model, depending upon the upgrades. I've been able to have conversations with the director at One Lake around the client that is an Op City lead that I've been working like hell to try to get these people in front of One Lake, which I was able to. There's even considerations of having a fully upgraded property at the discounted rate because they're not selling those models. So there's humongous negotiating power when you're talking new builds. And as everyone has already said, you make sure that you're there with your client because they don't want to give you the damn commission anyway. They'd rather keep that in-house, right? And negotiate incentives. If they say no now, that doesn't mean not ever. Particularly in the Vallejo new deal off Columbus Parkway for Tri Point Homes, they're trying to stick to that fair market value price, but they're not getting much attention. They're not getting much traction. So that gives us an opportunity to be able to negotiate on behalf of our buyer. Lot designation, lot selection, and so forth. So that's what's happening in my region, man.
Man, I love this. You know what? I don't know until I ask, like how well versed you guys are in these new devs. And that's why it's important. Like Rico's like, man, this is really important information because he's a brand new, agent to our team. But I want you to think about this, you guys. If you're struggling on saying, well, maybe I don't have enough content right now, go out there and go tour the new builds. Like go out there and tour the new builds, get some dope content and ask a lot of questions and be able to have that part of the conversation with your consumer. So really good stuff. Let's go Chris B and then Otis, and then Sydney, you had your hand up. We'll come to you in just a moment. But Chris B, let's hear from you, big dog. Veteran in the business, 15 plus years. Let's hear.
Yeah, I love new builds. Whenever I hold open houses in the area, like the one we held here the other Saturday with Sophia, and clients come in and they're looking at the house, and I kind of talk to them and kind of personally interview them. And a lot of times I'll let them know, like, do you know about the developments over here? One guy came in and he told me that he wanted a downstairs master for his in-law, and they're going to have their first child. So I straight up told him, like, do you know about the new builds in the area here? And in Anatolia, there's Holte Homes and Premier Homes that have the next gen suites. And he was like, next gen suites? I was like, yeah, they have the separate access for your in-laws, kitchenette, washer and dryer. You don't even need to see your parents if you don't have to, because they have their own little apartment. And they're like, whoa. So right at that open house, and Sophia was manning it, I took him straight to the new builds and registered him for 2 builders. I'm going to meet him back there with his parents this week to go see him and get okay to get in the contract. So new builds are great because once you get them in and show them the value of it, it makes up for a lot of times where we're just putting all this time in and, you know, and not getting the results we want, because new builds, you sign them in, boom, you get them in contract. They're just waiting for it to get built and it's done, you know. And I let them know, here's the pluses and minuses. The negatives, you got landscape the backyard. You might have higher metal roofs because it's a new neighborhood. They got to pay for the lights, schools, the streets, and all that stuff. And then, but a lot of times they're just so enamored by the models because they just look off the hook. They're like, whoa, this is the one. And then it opens their mind to it. Then I just take them to all the developments, register them to all of them. And sometimes I won't even connect with them for a couple of weeks. And they're like, Chris, you know, we went back in there and got in the contract, which I did my last December close. They just went in there 2 weeks after I registered them and got in the contract without me there. But just spend that day pouring them and registering them, all the new home builds, build rapport, let them know why the area is great and the incentives, and man, get your new build on, guys.
I love it. Get your new build on. I love this. You have to also think about like economic impact and what it's going to do to values over the course of the next 10, 15 years. So where we're at right now, there's less than 5,000 homes built. And there's plans for 15,000 homes. When you drive to the end of River Islands Parkway, as far as the eye can see, hundreds and hundreds of acres. They're flattened it. They've bulldozered the land and flattened it. And then they've taken up all the old pipes that run underneath there. They're putting 40 acres worth of new high school there. There is 8 builders now. Their plans to have 11 builders out there. And so when you think about like economic impact and what's going to happen here, what are the jobs that are going to come here, how this is going to reduce your commute time, all these different things, like it is powerful to think about the economic impact that new devs are going to have in your community. So really start to think about it, not just now, like long-term, what's this going to mean for that entire area, not just the equity they're building in their home. So really good stuff, Chris. Let's go to Otis and let's go to Sydney.
Damn, I hope I was the only one not to have something bad to say about new builds. Like now,
hey, it's all good, man. This is about
but I got a love-hate relationship with it. I did my first deal with one here in Hayward over literally where our office is at, the Taylor Morrison complex. Super good, started off awesome. The incentives were like crazy. We had tried to get a BMR, the last one that they had there, but my client made maybe almost 30,000 more than the 119 cutoff on that one for like 387. He got really sad and he kind of ghosted me and Melissa, and that was kind of like a sell and buy, but he wanted to buy first and we were trying to do the opposite, and then it kind of just went dead. The agent did tell me, I'll keep you in mind, but you know, like us, we just try to be nice and say that, but don't really have the meaning. But he actually fucking called me back like 3 weeks later and was like, hey, we have this unit available. Is your guy still ready? That was the day that I was up there doing the OpCity panel, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there, but I was smart enough to tell Melissa, so Melissa went. He had originally told me 450 off market. When it hit market, it was going to go for like, I think 545. So we were getting a big chunk of change off from the rip. We got him in at 3% seller credits. But then, you know, signing day we go, and Elias, you're right. You have to know what you're talking about. I had previously met with the guy up there, looked at it, did a showing with him first, and then we did a showing with the client. So I already kind of had somewhat of knowledge of what to go through. So as we were going through the paperwork, I kind of, you know, asked a few questions, because if you don't know, a lot of you guys are just going to go on for the ride. Like once you go with them, they're going to do pretty much everything. And this is where the nightmare happens. Storms happened and this place wasn't built yet. So obviously, you know, PG&E wasn't involved yet with power in the building and a bunch of stuff like that. So we were supposed to close 3 weeks ago, but unfortunately, because of the storm, we've been pushed back. I mean, and at this time, we're fully non-contingent. There's really nothing we can do. Either he loses his 16 grand and move on, because one of those things you need to really do is look at this contract that you're putting your name on as the agent and your client, because they have up to a year to deliver this place. So we sold this house in the hopes that we would do it really fast. They told us it would be done by the beginning of end of March, which our scheduled date was sometime in April, but because of the storm, we're pushed back now to May. So it's been a nightmare. He's been holding up, I think, in a friend's house with storage in another house. So kind of be careful what you're getting yourself into and plan ahead, and, you know, give yourself some time. And no matter what the client wants, you know, be realistic, because, you know, if they would have delivered, we would be looking like the agents of the millennium. But because of this holdup, it's looking like we have nothing to do, because there's literally nothing we can do. So just wanted to share the, you know, the good and bads about those new builds. So kind of game yourself up about negative stuff as well as all the positive.
Yeah, that's smart, man. That's smart, because you have to think about it, especially if they have a home that they need to sell. Obviously, we can sell that home in a very quick time frame, but if they're buying a new build, then you're going to put yourself in a pickle, especially if there's challenges, especially if there's tremendous amounts of weather. So that's actually a really, really good point, Otis. I appreciate that vantage point. To answer your question, Aaliyah, there is townhomes available. They're actually building a new complex of townhomes in River Islands that are right around the 500, 550 price point. Obviously a lot smaller. It's Hideaway, and then Hideaway 2 is being built. They're actually really, really dope. One of Michaela's friends lives there. Sydney, let's hear from you. Let's go back to Dominique, and then we'll start coming full circle on this conversation.
Good morning, guys. I am located in New Mexico. I service the areas of Albuquerque, Los Lunas, and Rio Rancho. And I have been seeing a lot of new build construction going on in our sistering town of Rio Rancho. Amazing. I absolutely love new builds. I love it for my socials, just because I get to go out and do some home tours. I did go tour one this weekend, which is part of Pulte. I believe it's Centex. And absolutely amazing for first-time home buyers. Their pricing starts, and I know the market is completely different from you guys, but the pricing for those homes were starting at $315, which is like our sweet spot down here. I feel like our market is like 300s to 360s is our sweet spots. And it's just amazing. I absolutely love that they're giving like a cute little 2-bedroom, 2-bath for $315 for first-time home buyers. They're helping everybody out with all the information. Of course, I'm going to be there. And then they are giving some incentives. Also, commission for the buying agent is 5% for the first person you bring in, and then goes up to 6% after that for a year.
look at Vernon.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, you guys.
Wow.
So if you guys ever need anybody or know anybody that's coming down to New Mexico, looking in the areas of Rio Rancho, Albuquerque, Los Lunas, the Millennium Properties is here to help you guys out.
Ooh,
and
I love
also,
this.
We got heard that the Tesla company is maybe wanting to come down here and giving some more jobs down here. So we should have a lot of people coming down to New Mexico, which I'm super excited about.
I love this. And you guys, when we were out there, I went and did a new development tour when I was in New Mexico. The number one employer in all of New Mexico is the federal government. And so the second is Scandia Labs. And so you have all these people that are like scientists that are moving out there, that are going out there. Obviously, housing prices are a lot lower. So if you ever know anybody that's federal and they're moving out, if you know somebody that works for a laboratory, they're moving out there, definitely we got the plug out in New Mexico. So Sydney, appreciate your contribution. Dominique, let's hear from you, and then we'll start wrapping up the conversation.
Since we were talking about market today, I actually sent something to your email, and I can't screen share on my phone, so it was a PDF. I was just wondering if you can, I can show everybody what they can do on the MLS for their market.
All right, cool. The market addendum.
Yes.
All right, cool. So let me share the screen, and then you can just walk us through this. 1, 2, 3. All right, cool. Let me enlarge this.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
This is something that I usually get. I usually draw up graphs from this data for my appraisal reports. However, this is a addendum that you can actually get from the MLS. You pull your, like if you're going to a listing appointment, you can pull certain criteria in the neighborhood and go back 24 months. So the first block of numbers is the last 12 months, right? And then the second big block is the last 2 years. So you'll see that it says prior 7 to 12 months, 4 to 6 months, current 3 months. So this is a good, since we're talking about market, this gives you a good indication of the market within the last year and 2 years. And what it does is it helps you better guide your seller to think and know that the market has changed from when interest rates were lower to now, because a lot of sellers are still stuck in the market of, well, my house is worth more because such and such house sold last year for, you know, 865,000. Well, if you look at this data here, you'll see the numbers that back 13, 15 months ago, the median comparable sale price was 782. But however, now the current 3 months, the median comparable sale price is 730. So the market has adjusted. And this is where your sellers can come into reality of what it's really doing. And so this specifically is for Tracy. I have 2 listings in Tracy right now in the same neighborhood. So this has helped us guide our clients to know what it is they can get and why they can't get X, Y, and Z from last year's market.
I love this. Dominique, I wanted to ask, and maybe in a couple weeks, not next week, but the week after, if you would do a live demonstration of this and how we pull this.
Yes, I would love to do it.
Cool. Let's do that.
I
I
would
think
absolutely
everyone
love
would find this helpful. And you guys, this data will be applicable no matter what market you're in and what MLS, but she'll show you. I think this would be good. Would you guys find that helpful if Dominique walked us through this live? Yeah, give me a thumbs up. Okay, cool. Dominique, I always appreciate your contributions and thank you for sharing that. You guys, really, really great contributions today. What I wanted to go back to is I wanted to make sure that you guys are not only understanding these things, you guys are putting new developments into your flow. You're going out there and creating content. You know, I think that it gives you a completely different, like a great platform to go out there and create something different, making sure it's part of your flow, but really understanding this, like understanding where they're at, where they're building. And I wanted to ask everyone on the call, does anyone have a new development high note that they've already built? That has, like, maybe it's Solano County. Here's 5 of the top new devs that have been that are on the market right now. Does anybody have something like that already? No. Okay. So I think that this is probably something that would have a massive impact for you, especially if this is something that's part of your flow. Create a dope high note that helps clients understand where all of these places are. Obviously, you want to preface that you want to make sure that you are that person that registers them, but have an information hub that allows them to know what's going on, where the places are, and the economic impact that these places are going to have. So before we close out, I wanted to go to one person that was on tour with us yesterday with River Islands. Who wants to share their experience of River Islands since people were here? Jennifer Angel, let's hear from you. You were here, you're at my house. Let's hear from you. What were some of your key takeaways? What'd you learn? And then we'll wrap up the session. Jennifer Angel going once, Jennifer Angel going twice. All right, cool. Let's go to Jessica. Jessica, do you want to share your takeaways from yesterday? Bling. Like, she didn't even respond to Jessica. You don't even respond to Jessica.
I don't. I was looking around like, was there a Jessica with us yesterday? Oh, sorry. No, I'm just used to Jess. It was lit. I'm so thankful to you and whomever went out of your way to organize something like that. Just, it was beautiful to see everyone creating content and being in that space, because that's not something I've ever experienced with a different broker. So just that aspect was awesome. And then I low-key wish we could grab some of those houses and bring them to the Bay, because the way that those were laid out were beautiful. But I also liked the next gen. That was one of the biggest takeaways from those units, was seeing that they have those and they're functional, and just considering the demographic of people that may not be able to afford the Fremont or surrounding cities, but have those generations of taking care of their family, or perhaps needing additional money to rent out that unit. Like, that was amazing. And lastly, I left feeling even more inspired. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna find me a house like this in Fremont. So that was also really good. But
I love
thank
it.
you. Thank you
I
for
love it,
coordinating
Jess.
that.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I went and mapped it all out, the drive, so we weren't like making wrong turns and everyone had a U-turn. I said, how can we flow through and there's parking for everyone? So I definitely put some thought into it because I didn't want it to be a shit show. But there was one thing I wanted to share with you guys. Oh, most of the people that are moving here are coming from Fremont, Haworth, Newark. We talked with a realtor last year. One agent brought 35 families here from Fremont. And they all knew each other. There's a huge Indian population here in River Islands. So if you are speaking to people that are in those areas, this is hot on their list, So really good stuff, Jess. Joan, you had your hand up again. What was your contribution?
I just want to add some data on those next gen houses. 10,000 people turn 65 every single day. There is a housing shortage for the seniors. And not only that, it costs about $5,000 to $8,000 a month for them to live in assisted living. So that's why these next gen accessible homes are here.
I love that. I think they're absolutely wonderful. So you guys, really good energy today. Great stuff. Let's go to a couple people and hear what your takeaways were. Let's go to Rico. Let's go to Christy. Let's go to Sam Batzenbeg. Let's go to you first, Rico. What were some of your key takeaways from our time together? Christy, you'll be up next, and then Sam will come to you.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, some of my key takeaways is that I need to just, do my homework and really absorb this knowledge and be able to articulate it in a concise manner that my client can understand. And also I have to start tapping in with my allies more, like Chris and Joe Ellen. I would love to, shadow you at an open house this weekend, if you have one going on. And just use the team around me. I think I have so many resources, and there's really no excuses not to be successful and build that momentum. So those are my key takeaways.
Love it, Rico. Good stuff. Christy Betancourt, let's hear from you, and then Sam will end the session with you. Christy, key takeaways from our time together.
There's a lot of opportunity on the new development, and there's a lot of flexibility to negotiate on behalf of your clients. My key takeaway is that I need to get up to speed on the new developments, because I didn't realize that there was so much flexibility in regards to negotiating and opportunity there.
Yeah, so for you, right off of Pellendale or Stanford, no, I think it's Pellendale. Right on the left-hand side, you have that new development that's right up from the Del Webb. I would just go and drive over there and be like, hey, you guys, I have some clients that are looking in this area. Can you tell me about the new developments, and go take a tour and get out there with your phone and start creating some content.
There's one in Riverbank as well. And they're also bringing in a Costco soon. So that's definitely getting more developed as well.
Love it. Yeah, and Riverbank is dope. It's far, but it's dope. Good stuff, Christy. Sam, let's hear from you. Key takeaways from our time together today.
Yeah, so my takeaway is make sure we are prepared ourselves before the presentation. So I have a few clients looking at new builds a lot all over the Solana County and Alameda too. So it was a good stuff for everyone. And thank you for sharing your stories about new builds. So now I'm more prepared than ever.
I love it. I love it. Good stuff, Sam. Because here's the thing, people might not know, but when they walk into that door, and it's like perfectly designed, and they can see what it's like actually living there. And it's like, it's pristine. And one thing that we talked about yesterday was what it's like actually living in a place like River Islands, or a place, other developments. For us here, this is all about lifestyle, right? It is low crime rate. It's insulated. It is beautiful. There's not, there's not any littering here. It's just a really, really great place to raise the kids. And everything is so fresh and so new. Yeah, it lacks architectural, like historic charm that a lot of us want in the Bay Area homes. But you don't have to deal with Section 1. You don't have to deal with repairs. You don't have to deal with all the things like sewer laterals and stuff like that. So Sam, I appreciate your contribution. We have two more takeaways, Otis and then Nicole. Rapid fire, you guys, because I want to make sure to close right on time.
I just don't know if that is her, but I did go to a open house for a house that we're looking to family deal. And I seen an agent, and I don't know if that's her on the iPhone, if that's Rochelle. Just wanted to know if it was her. Just wanted to have her to come here, have a good time with us today. She is looking to make a move, so I'm hoping that is her on there. If it's not, then I don't want to waste time. But if it is, Rochelle, if that's you on the phone, if you can unmute yourself and just say hi. But if not, then I guess I'll try to get her on Friday.
Hi, Rochelle, if that's you. Radio
Hey,
silence. Hey, all right, Nicole Penland, it's got to be super, super quick. Rapid fire, key takeaway.
Just wanted to give you an update on Oaknall because I just had a conversation with the security guards. Nothing is up. The only thing they put down is some of the paveway, and they're not letting anyone in to do any type of touring or video or anything.
Ah, okay, cool. Good to know. Will they stop a drone though? I don't think so.
Yeah, the man said once they start, he'll let me in, but they don't want anybody in right now.
Good. Way to take action. Way to take action and get out there. So you guys, hey, thank you for your contributions. Go into Slack, look at that buyer market script, fill in those details, make sure that have that dialogue really, really strong. You guys go into Sisu today, track your stats. And I want to say thank you to everybody that put their goals in on Monday. You guys can still go in there. It's in general, put your goals for the week. And I want to make sure that we're continuously doing that. Set time aside today to go into Sisu and update your stats. Our adoption of that program is going up and up and up. And if you ever want to be a part of competitions in the future that have money associated to, like what Maria wants, you want a weekend out in Napa, all things are going to be routed through Sisu. So make sure that you're leaning into that program. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll see some of you tonight for Top Producer Dinner. So have a wonderful day, you guys. And as always, keep it moving towards your dreams, goals, and vision. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace.